Hello and welcome to our weekly dosage of power. This morning, we'll look at never underestimate the power of tenderness. Never underestimate the power of tenderness. I'll share with you this interesting story. It is called the tiger's whisker. Once upon a time, a young wife named Young was at her wit's end. Her husband has always been tender and a loving soulmate before he left for the wars. But ever since he returned home, he was cross, angry, and unpredictable. She was almost afraid to live with her own husband. Only in glancing moments did she catch a shadow of the husband she used to know and love. When one ailment or another bothered people in her village, they would often rush for cure to a hermit who lived deep in the mountains. Not Young. She always prided herself that she could heal her own troubles. But this time, things were different. She was very desperate. As Young approached the hermit's hut, she saw that the door was open. The old man said without turning around, "I hear you. What's your problem?" She explained the situation. His back still to her, he said, "Ah, yes. That is often the way soldiers are when they return from war. What do you expect me to do about it?" "Make me a potion, cried the young woman, "or an omelette, a drink, whatever it takes to get my husband back to the way he used to be." The old man turned around. "Young woman, your request does not exactly fall into the same category as a broken bone or an ear infection." "I know," she said. "It will take 3 days before I can even look into it. Come back then." 3 days later, Young returned to the hermit's hut. "Young he greeted her with a smile. "I have good news. There's a potion that will restore your husband to the way he used to be. But you should know that it requires an unusual ingredient. You must bring me a whisker from a live tiger." "What?" she gasped. "Such a thing is impossible." "I cannot make the potion without it," he shouted, startling her. He turned his back. "There's nothing more to say. As you can see, I am very busy." That night, Young tossed and turned. How could she get a whisker from a live tiger? The next day before dawn, she crept out of the house with a bowl of rice covered with meat sauce. She went to the cave on the mountainside where the tiger was known to live. She clicked her tongue very softly as she crept up, her heart pounding, carefully set the bowl down on the grass. Then, trying to make as little noise as possible, she backed away. The next day before dawn, she took another bowl of rice covered with meat sauce to the cave. She approached the same spot. Clicking softly with her tongue, she saw that the bowl was empty. Replaced the empty one with a fresh one, then left again. And so it was for several months that she was able to put food and away. Then finally one day she saw the tiger. She was afraid, but she put her food down just the same. Over time, she was able to touch and pet the tiger. Until after about 6 months, one day she asked him, "Could I just have one of your whiskers?" And she clipped a whisker and then take it back to the hermit. "Huh," the hermit said. "Interesting. You have gotten it. As soon as explain to me how you did it." So she explained to the hermit how she tenderly pet the tiger until finally she was able to get a whisker. She gladly handed it to the hermit, who immediately tossed it in the fire. "What are you doing?" she asked. "Well," the hermit said, "you see, you don't need the tiger whisker anymore." Then she asked him, Is a man more difficult to deal with than a beast? She was surprised. And he said, well, if you were able, by tenderness, to pet a tiger, to get a whisker from a live tiger, how much more your husband? Who is more difficult to deal with? She was speechless. She turned around and stepped down the trail, turning over in her mind the images of the tiger and her husband. Back and forth, back and forth. She knew what she could do. It is easy to want things to be back the way they used to be, but people sometimes change. When they do change, we often change our level of affection, our feelings, and even our attitude towards them. But if I change and sense a change in you, in my stubbornness, I will not change before you do. Question to ponder. Is a good relationship worth losing over our pride? Is it better to lose the relationship, or is it better to lose our pride? Another question to ask yourself is, was the depth of your love for your loved one equivalent to how him or her had treated you? Softness and gentleness, tenderness will melt the heart of others. But even if it don't, it will make your heart a lovely place to live in. Reacting to hate with hate only breeds more hate. Anger versus anger nourishes more anger. But love conquers hate. And as Proverbs 15 verse 1 reminds us, a soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger. So tenderness, gentleness is the way to go. It has worked in the past and it will continue to work again. Thank you very much.